Experts and evidence agree that addiction is a disease. It is not a matter of willpower, upbringing, or morality. This disease requires only a combination of genetics, life stressors, and an introduction to the drug of choice. These genetics are in 8 to 12% of people. Life is a hectic pressure cooker full of stress and anxiety. Today's Western society values financial achievement, self-reliance, and material success. The poor man who prays every day and devotes his life to a higher power is often pitied, while the rich man who makes more in one day than his father did in a year is envied. Add addictive genetics and an exposure to drugs and alcohol, the rich life can then turn into a minefield full of heartache and pain. Most people do not turn to drugs and alcohol, some do. A percentage of this group will become addicted. Once addicted, their previous self-reliant tools will no longer work. They need help and support to start a new life. NextRightThing.org's medical director, Dr. Trevor Daniel.
Addiction costs the United States of America over $500 billion every year. That's over $500 billion annually. Addiction affects about 10% of our population. Now, when you think about the addict, many people think about the stereotypical street addict, the homeless person living under the bridge. You know the picture. But the research tells us that that's only about 7 to 9% of addicts. So, who are these other addicts? Where are these other addicts? Well, the truth is they're people that you see every day. They're your friends, your family, co-workers, people in your church. Addiction doesn't really discriminate. Now, the best definition for addiction comes from the National Institute of Drug Abuse, and it says that addiction is a chronic, relapsing brain disease that is characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use despite negative consequences. Looking at that definition a little closer, we first see that addiction is a chronic disease. It's not something that you're treated for and 28 days later you're magically well. It's a lifelong deal. That's the way it works. The next part tells us that it is a relapsing disease, which means that you can get well, live for a period of time, and then some people get sick again. They relapse. And finally, and I think most importantly, the definition tells us that addiction is a brain disease. It fits every definition of disease that we have, and it is centered in the brain. And finally, addicts are compelled to seek their drug or activity of choice despite negative consequences. It's hard to understand the decisions they make because they make the same decisions even though bad things are happening to them. What do you do now? Well, if you are the addict and you are in crisis, stop now, call 911. You need emergency medical attention. This is a potentially life-threatening disease. Otherwise, the addict needs a professional medical assessment. They need to know that help is available. They need to know that their life is not over. They need to know that they're not alone. And that this could be the start of a wonderful life lived in recovery.
NextRightThing.org is an organization whose mission is to educate and consult in the field of alcoholism and drug addiction. Through public speaking and video sales, we carry our message of recovery to professional schools, athletic teams, treatment centers, and businesses. We organize workshops to further educate individuals and specialized groups. Contact us directly at NextRightThing.org, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter or Instagram.